Just lost a ton of money. Sometimes we win and sometimes we Coinbase. Generally, when you're investing in the market, you want to end up making money. But sometimes you end up buying Coinbase instead and you lose a lot. So this is what happened. This is one of my biggest mistakes. It just actually happened this week. And this is a story and a tale of greed. This is the play-by-play of everything that happened with the Coinbase stock. So it started off simple, right? With a 1, but people started to get FOMO as soon as it turned into a 5. And then the 5 turned into a 10, and the 10 turned into a 20. So naturally people thought, well, if it's gonna go to 20, it's gonna go to 50, right? And does it? Yeah, 50 cents. Don't get greedy. Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the epic fails, because just this past week I made one of my biggest investing mistakes of my entire career, and I'm gonna make a video about it because why not? So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll learn exactly what I did wrong and learn from my mistakes, because ultimately, mistakes are a good thing. You learn from them, they keep you accountable, and I'm gonna keep telling that to myself, so leave me alone. But I've been waiting on this Coinbase direct listing for a while now. I've been super excited, but I remember telling myself, Andre, for the love of baby Jesus, do not buy this stock on the day that it's listed. There is nothing to be gained from doing that. Sure, you might miss a big run up in price, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna buy the stock at a good price and you'll be just fine. But no, that's not what happened. Picture this. I wake up, it's 6:15 a.m. and I'm ready. I know that the Coinbase listing won't go live until later in the day, but I wanna be ready because the early bird gets the worm, right? So I open up Robinhood and I see coin. The Coinbase listing is not live yet, but you can set a limit order, and Robinhood asks, what is the lowest minimum amount you'd like to bid on this stock? So I think about it, I'm like, I wanna go conservative. Yeah, so I set a limit order for $300, and I'm like, yeah, this should be good. Remember, the reference price was at $250, but I knew that there was no way any of us would get in at $250. There's no way it would open at that because that's reserved for employees and private equity, and by the time it gets listed, it's gonna be way higher. So I think about it, and I think about it. Well, it's an hour later, it's like 9 a.m. now. I don't know how I skipped from 6 to 9 an hour later, but there it is. And I think to myself, there's just no way that it's gonna open at $300. That's just too low. I reset it to $350. And I think to myself, hey, if it opens up at $300 and I was wrong, at least I'd still get in lower, but I wanna set the limit to be a little bit higher. So I'm like, yes, this feels good. $350 is great. So I go on about my day, I continue as usual, I answer comments on YouTube, meet Kevin's on his 4th video of the day, and then Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, starts going live and starts doing an interview. So I tune in and I'm watching. And then by 10:20 a.m., the stock goes live. I furiously open up my Robinhood account and I check and I see that the open price is $381. No, I missed my limit order. Now I just bid too low and I see the stock price taking off. Each and every second is like up $1, $2, $3, $4. I'm getting FOMO, my heart is racing, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna cancel my limit order, so I do, and I put in $50,000 worth of a market order and I get in at $391 a share. Whew, I think to myself, at least I got in below $400. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. It's okay though. Long term, it's a great buy and hold at under $400. I'm happy with that. And the stock takes off like a rocket ship. By 10:30, just 10 minutes after open, it hits a market high of $424.99, and I am up over $4,000. I just made $4,000 in 10 minutes. I'm a genius. Now at this point in the video, it should pause and go like this. This is me. I'm about to lose a ton of money. I don't know it yet, but let me take you back and show you how I got here. Everything after 10:30 and the stock begins to slide. It is now below $400, and just 5 minutes after the stock reached the all-time high, it is below the market open price. So I get super excited because I'm like, yes, more shares for me. So I spend another $18,500 and I buy 50 more shares at an average cost of $370 per share. Great. Now the stock could drop from this point, but it's not gonna drop substantially more, right? Challenge accepted. And of course it keeps on dipping lower. And at this point I'm like, wow, how low is it gonna go? $354? I have to buy more. But at this point, my laser is getting kind of weak and I'm running out of money, so I could only buy 8.7 more shares, $3,100 worth, and now I've run out of money on Robinhood. But I get a bright idea, because I have more money in my Webull account. I have $11,000 left, and of course the stock keeps on dropping to $336, and I buy 33 more shares. So the lowest that the stock dropped on Wednesday was actually $312. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get in on that low of a price. I did buy at $336, but I only spent around $11,000. So now I have a grand total of 220 shares at an average cost basis of $376 per share. So it's not too terribly bad, but it's not the greatest either. So I spent around $82,000 and now I'm down roughly $10,000. So that is the play-by-play of what happened. Now let's talk about my mistake and what I learned. And here's the first mistake. I was too emotionally excited about Coinbase because I bought my first Bitcoin on Coinbase in 2014. And I tried really hard at that point in time to find a way to directly invest in Coinbase, but I couldn't find a way, so the next best thing was to buy Bitcoin. And so now I have enough Bitcoin. No, I don't. There's never enough, but I'm happy right now. And the next best product we have is Coinbase because it's literally like owning the entire market. It's the ETF we never had. It's like owning Vanguard's VTI, which is the entire market, or the VOO S&P 500 ETF. That's like owning all of the tokens without actually having any of the price or the security risk of holding them individually. And now, regardless of what wins, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Dogecoin, I get to be the winner regardless. Because guess where people are gonna go to buy their crypto? Robinhood. No, I'm just kidding. Not your keys, not your crypto. People are either gonna go to Gemini, and since Gemini is not public, they'll go to Coinbase. Except, this is what ended up happening. I should have made a video burning $8,500 instead. It would have made more views, more subscribers, and made more money. It's really sad. Here's the thing though, Coinbase has 1,700 employees, over 56 million users, and a Q1 revenue of $1.8 billion, or a net income of about $750 million-ish. That means that they're actually profitable. And that means that even though it's trading at a several hundred times PE ratio today, there are stocks in the market that actually trade at a premium despite the fact that they never even earned a dollar. And the best example of this is Tesla. 8 years after Tesla IPO'd, it wasn't making any money, but people were still paying a premium because they believed in its future. So trying to value and compare Coinbase to traditional banks and exchanges completely misses the point. Because even if transactional revenues get compressed to $0 in the next 5 years, then there are other sources of income from places like Coinbase Commerce, which is a service that allows other corporations to integrate cryptocurrency into their businesses. Things like banking services, loan services, staking services, which is where we can take our coins, put them into liquidity pools to earn interest on. Things like NFT marketplaces, NFT custody. I mean, it is limitless the amount of things that they can do in the crypto space. And all of that should hopefully eclipse transactional revenues. Assuming a bear case, a worst case scenario, I think we can easily see a price between $500 to $600 by 2023, 2024, assuming a growth rate of 50% for the next couple of years, which I think is reasonable when you compare it to fintech growth companies like Shopify or Square. So I think we'll easily get there. But unlike all the other price predictions that I've seen, here's what I think they get wrong, and here's where I made my mistake. Coinbase's price is heavily tied to the price of both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and here's why. Bitcoin makes up about 41% of transactional volume on Coinbase, and Ethereum makes up about 15% of transactional volume. Together they make 56% of transactional volume, and by extension, transactional revenue. But here's where things go south, because if Bitcoin and Ethereum collapse in price, which kind of inevitably should happen based on history and based on everything we've seen so far, which by the way should happen at the end of this year and maybe the beginning of next year, and it takes down everything with it, then Coinbase, the price of the stock, will be in trouble. Not the company itself, but the price will. And this is something that I should have seen being in crypto for as long as I have, but my greed kind of clouded my judgment. But here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a double negative 1-2 punch for Coinbase. The first thing that's bad is once Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else crashes in price, then the transactional volume that Coinbase makes per trade will also crash in kind. Here's why. Because once you're trading an underlying asset that's expensive and you're charging 0.5% fees like Coinbase is, that's great because the asset that you're trading is very expensive, so you're making a lot of money in fees. But what happens if that underlying asset is now worth $20,000 instead of $60,000? Well, now theoretically, you're making a third of the transactional revenue that you were before because my math is amazing. I don't know. So now you have a very realistic scenario where both Bitcoin and Ethereum drag the entire crypto markets with them, and of course Coinbase follows along, which is bad, right? That's the first punch. But then we get the uppercut. That's the second punch, and that is the retail investor. Because you and me, you and I, we both know that there have been a ton of new retail investors joining the crypto sphere this year, right? But those people are not used to seeing their investments drop 70, 80, 90% in value. That fear is going to drive away a lot of the people that joined this year, and they're gonna stay away for the next few years. That's gonna have the effect of decreasing the transactional volume even more, which again does not help Coinbase. So it's going to be a very bumpy ride. The only thing that I can see that will help smoothen out the ride is the fact that we got a lot of institutional investors this year as well. So if these companies, remember the billionaires, the smart money, right? If they've been paying attention to Square, Tesla, MicroStrategy, and if they've been seeing how many Bitcoins they've been buying, hopefully they will follow in their lead and buy the dip as well. But that's not a guarantee. So the problem with trying to value Coinbase like a traditional growth company is that Bitcoin didn't get to this point by traditional steady growth. Instead, we crashed upward to get to this point and will continue crashing upward to go even further. And that's exactly what's gonna happen to Coinbase. So here's what I think is gonna happen over the next 1 to 2 years. I think all these analysts that you're reading online about their price predictions, I think mostly all of them are going to be wrong because they're assuming this traditional steady growth based on the Q1 that they've reported to us. What I think is gonna happen instead is, assuming we get this crypto bear market winter, that Coinbase will crash substantially to a new scary low to the point where it's gonna be so oversold, people are gonna criticize the company, it's a bad company, it released too high of a price when it first launched, it's bad, right? People are going to not believe in the company. But that's gonna be in the next 1 to 2 years. But then we get the 3 to 4 year mark. And I think when Bitcoin and Ethereum come back and the whole crypto sphere comes roaring back, that's when you're gonna have asymmetric price growth with Coinbase. And that's when it's really going to pump higher. That's the kind of growth trajectory that I see with Coinbase over the next few years. So if you didn't buy Coinbase yet, congratulations, because I think that later this year, or maybe even in the beginning of next year, that's when it's gonna be a real bargain. Long term though, if you bought Coinbase at around $400 like this dude, then you'll be just fine. Because 5 years from now, when Bitcoin returns and we'll have the next cycle, the market cap will easily be triple or quadruple what it is today. Just to put things in reference, Bitcoin reached $1 trillion in just 12 short years. It is the fastest growing asset to 1 trillion, faster than Apple, Amazon, and Google did it. And the next $1 trillion will come that much faster. And we're not stopping at a few $1 trillion. We're going to $10 trillion, which will be parity with gold, but we're not stopping at 10 either. We're going past 10 as well. And when that happens, people will be saying, got any more of those $500 Coinbase stocks laying around? We'll get there. It's just that getting there is gonna be a very bumpy ride, similar to Bitcoin. But that brings me to the most important part of the video, which is my biggest investing mistake. It's the fact that I let my emotions get the better of me. I know better than to buy on day one of an IPO or a DPO, initial public offering or a direct public offering. I just thought of excuses to justify my greed because I thought, well, maybe with initial public offerings, because there's banks involved, there's fees, the share price may not be as accurate. But with a direct listing, there's no share dilution and there's no banks involved, so maybe the share price is more accurate. But instead, I should have just thought about it like a macro investor in terms of these market cycles like I described. And so just think about it like this. There's no reason why you need to feel FOMO and feel like you need to participate in every single winning investment strategy out there. Just be patient. If you miss it, that's fine. It's the same reason why I don't lose sleep over the fact that I didn't get into Tesla on time and I didn't buy it when it was really cheap. That's fine. It's the same reason why I don't lose sleep every time I see somebody at a casino win and 10x their money at the roulette. I don't feel compelled to copy that person's every move. There's plenty of different ways to make money in this world, and you don't need to capture 10 out of 10 of them to feel good about yourself and actually make money. And this is especially true if you feel FOMO, because if you feel the fear of missing out, chances are there are thousands, if not millions of people just like you who have the exact same fear. And if those people get together and they put money into an investment, then there's a good chance that that investment could be way more valuable than it deserves to actually be. And what's ironic about all that is that as we were putting our greed to work, the people that actually had that stock, like the employees and the private equity, they were unloading on us and they were profiting off of our greed. So I think that's kind of funny and ironic. So the biggest takeaway, I guess, is don't let your emotions control your actions, and don't let those dollar signs in your eyes cloud your judgments. Don't forget to grab up to $250 worth of free Bitcoin using this BlockFi link right here, blockfi.com/Andre. And once you've done that, go get 2 free stocks with Webull by depositing $100 using the link down below. You'll get 2 free stocks, each of which can be valued up to $1,850. And once you do that, go track them with my spreadsheet, link down below, and my Patreon. Love you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please go check out our Millennial Money channel. We post on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Love you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you back here on Monday and Friday, sometimes a Wednesday. Bye-bye.